We're going to talk about why zoos and aquariums are beneficial to the animals that live in them as well as the animals in the wild. 21% of mammals are endangered as well as 37% of freshwater fish. And that's just a couple of the statistics. There's lots of statistics for the birds and reptiles and all different kinds of things. But just about everyone has been to the zoo or an aquarium. They're typically in most major cities. And while there, many people wonder if the animals that are there are being treated fairly, if they're happy, all these different things, the ethics of putting animals in cages. So we will discuss how zoos and aquariums are beneficial to those animals, as well as their help that they give these animals is more far-reaching than just that. So let's begin with how zoos are able to help endangered animals. So, zoos and aquariums support international breeding programs of endangered animals. So many animals face poachers and difficulty finding mates in the wild. Their numbers are so few and far between, so they're more spread out, and it's harder for them to get together and mate, as well as their numbers decrease, their genetics become more similar to each other, so therefore when they do mate, a lot of times their offspring have issues and aren't able to then survive in the wild. So that's why programs like these in zoos and aquariums can keep the genetics different and help mix it up so that these animals are able to survive and be healthy. Zoos and aquariums also contribute to conservation efforts monetarily. Each year they contribute approximately $350 million to these efforts, and that money, specifically that money has been able to help 28% of the endangered animals be able to survive. And some of the examples of the species that have been saved, and they're still endangered but they're not extinct yet, are the mountain chicken, which is actually a frog. That is, it's a frog native to Caribbean islands, and it's named the mountain chicken because its meat tastes like chicken, and its population has declined by about 81% in the last 10 years, and that's due to fungal disease that has invaded their habitats, so the conservation efforts are to kill that fungal disease. Another example is the orangutan. And those are a pretty big staple at most zoos, and they're endangered because of habitat loss, which is a direct thing from deforestation, which is from humans. So in order to try to combat that, not only is there conservation efforts to keep their habitat intact, but also to keep up a mating program with the ones that are in the zoos. And then the third one is the Amazon river dolphin, which is pink, and they have become endangered in the last couple years. Several species of dolphins have, in fact, and the main reason is because they become entangled in fishing gear. So that's sad, and also due to humans. So aquariums help with those in particular. And then, so how do zoos and aquariums help with disabled animals? They oftentimes are able to take in animals that have broken wings, broken limbs, things that can't just be repaired and sent back into the wild because they won't be able to survive. I know at the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo they have an eagle that isn't able to fly that they have on display there, and a couple other animals, and they then enable these animals to lead healthy, fairly normal lives in their enclosures. As well as zoos often take discarded or rescued exotic pets, and that's like they get a lot of lions and tigers and things like that that are kept in small cages and abused, but they are used to humans, therefore they cannot survive in the wild because they would most likely die from poachers. And so they get transferred to zoos and are able to live there. One example of that is this picture down here, and that's of the turtles that the Phoenix Zoo takes. They have a great big river in the front there that they take pets that nobody, because when they get bigger than what people expect, they take them there and they can live in the river and lead a normal life. So we've talked about how the zoos have helped endangered animals, how they've helped disabled animals. Now let's talk about how they are able to educate the public. They do this by making people aware of conservation efforts, as well as those animals that are currently endangered. Oftentimes when you go to zoos or aquariums, they have a tank or a cage with that animal with a fact sheet about them, and oftentimes what's causing them to be endangered and how people are helping and how you in particular can help. They also have fundraisers that help specific species in the wild and help with conservation efforts for those. Zoos and aquariums sell products that are specifically designed to raise awareness, as well as all of the proceeds from those go to conservation efforts. And some examples of that is the Beads for Wildlife, where more than like 178,000 of those products have been sold, and those help with the Grevy zebra in Kenya. They helped those animals, as well as the Seal the Loop bins. So those, they go in the water, people purchase those, they go in the water, and they help to reduce marine wildlife entanglement. And that the entanglement is mainly for seals, and more than, in like the past 2 years alone, 57 wild seals have been caught by just debris that's in the ocean from humans and have either died or been successfully rescued, but these Seal the Loop bins are able to help with that. They also offer workshops for children as well as older people that are fun and help people just learn more about how to help conserve the planet. And then in conclusion, good zoos and aquariums, because we know there's always going to be the couple that aren't necessarily good, but generally the good zoos and aquariums are beneficial to the animals that live in them as well as the ones that live in the wild. They're able to help endangered animals through breeding programs as well as donations to conservation efforts. They help disabled animals by giving them a chance to survive where they wouldn't have that in the wild. And they also help raise a lot of awareness and funds for conservation efforts for animals that live in the wild. And then zoos, with the help of good people that visit them, have been able to help many animals live healthy lives as well as prevent many species from going extinct, like the mountain chicken.